It was Christmas night in Boulder, Colorado. Twinkling lights glowed outside, gifts still scattered under the tree, a home wrapped in warmth. But before the sun could rise again, that warmth would twist into horror. What began with a single phone call, trembling, frantic, barely holding together, would become one of the most haunting 911 calls in American history. Tonight, we revisit those moments, the voice of a mother in shock, the chilling silence on the other end, and the mystery that still refuses to fade. The Ramsey home was grand, decorated, alive with holiday cheer. JonBenét, 6 years old, a child with bright eyes and glittering dreams, had gone to bed after the celebrations. Upstairs, her parents believed the night was ordinary, peaceful. Snow fell quietly outside, muffling the world. No sign of intrusion, no footsteps out of place. Just the illusion of safety, while somewhere in that house, a nightmare was already unfolding. Morning came. The home should have been filled with laughter, breakfast, the excitement of toys. Instead, it echoed with confusion. Patsy Ramsey, rising early, descended the stairs and froze. On the staircase lay a 3-page ransom note, demanding money and warning them not to call the police. But the note was bizarre, too long, too strange. Heart pounding, she rushed to check her daughter's room. The bed was empty. JonBenét was gone. In panic, Patsy reached for the phone. But the phone clicked, the line opened, and for a moment there was only breath. Frantic, shallow, uneven. Then, in a sharp burst, Patsy Ramsey's voice broke through, high-pitched and trembling. "We have a kidnapping! Hurry! Please, hurry!" The operator straightened, her tone controlled, professional. "Ma'am, what is going on?" But Patsy's words collided, spilling too fast, like she feared time itself would run out if she slowed. The sound wasn't just fear. It was the collapse of a mother's world. The instant Christmas morning became a nightmare. The dispatcher leaned in, voice calm but urgent. "I need you to take a breath and tell me exactly what happened." On the other end, Patsy's voice quivered. There's a note. It says they kidnapped her. Please, our daughter is gone." She gasped mid-sentence, sobs breaking the rhythm. In the background, faint footsteps, movement, voices, the household stirring to chaos. The operator asked for details, but Patsy's terror swallowed structure. Each word sharpened the dread, a warning not to call police. And yet here she was, doing just that, clinging to the hope of help. "Ma'am, what's your name?" the dispatcher asked firmly. A breath, then Patsy's voice cracked. "Patsy Ramsey, I'm the mother." Silence stretched. Then she added in a trembling rush, "Our daughter, JonBenét, she's 6 years old. She's gone." The words hung heavy in the air, impossible to absorb. Behind her voice, muffled sounds echoed. Footsteps on stairs, the confusion of a family waking into a nightmare. The operator pressed again for clarity. But Patsy's frantic tone painted the picture itself, a child missing, a ransom note on the table, and a mother collapsing under the weight of it all. The dispatcher's voice stayed steady. "Ma'am, you said there's a note? Can you read it to me?" Papers rustled, the sound jagged, trembling in Patsy's hands. Her words stumbled as she tried to form them. They want money. They said not to call the police or she'll be killed." Her sob broke, jagged, raw. The weight of the words was crushing, each syllable slashing at the silence. Somewhere in the background, John Ramsey's voice surfaced faintly, urgent, commanding, asking questions no one could answer. The operator leaned forward, realizing she wasn't just hearing fear. She was hearing the beginning of a mystery. "Stay with me," the dispatcher urged. "We're sending help right now." Patsy's voice came sharper, almost frantic. "Please hurry, I don't know what to do." Her breathing was ragged, quick, pulling in air like it was running out. Every second stretched longer. The house alive with muffled chaos, footsteps, doors opening, voices colliding in panic. The operator tried to ground her, to slow the spiral. But Patsy's words tumbled without pause. "They're going to kill her. Oh God, my baby!" The line itself felt fragile, carrying desperation across the wire, heavy with the knowledge that something unthinkable had already happened. The dispatcher asked for calm. "Ma'am, I need you to focus. Where exactly are you?" Patsy answered in a rush. "We're at 755 15th Street. Hurry, please." But then her voice faltered. A pause. The silence was thick, broken only by her shaky breathing. "She's just 6 years old. My baby," she whispered, softer now, words sinking under the weight of despair. In the background, a man's footsteps drew closer, his voice overlapping hers, steady but sharp, as though trying to seize control of chaos. The operator listened closely, sensing not just panic, but something more tangled, something hidden beneath fear. The operator leaned in closer to the headset, straining to catch the overlapping sounds behind Patsy's voice. A man's tone cut in briefly, commanding, "What did it say?" His voice firm, controlled. Patsy answered faintly, but the words blurred, broken by sobs. The operator logged every detail, the address, the threats, the ransom demand. But something in the call felt uneven. The terror was there, raw, undeniable, but laced with something the dispatcher couldn't quite name. Every second pressed heavier, the sense that the operator wasn't just documenting panic, but standing at the edge of a story that would spiral into something darker. On the line, Patsy cried louder now, words tumbling fast. "Please, I don't know what to do. They took my baby." The dispatcher's voice was steady, almost mechanical, but behind the calm, a flicker of instinct stirred. The silence between Patsy's sobs felt alive, heavy with things unsaid. In the background, the voices grew sharper. Footsteps, a faint metallic sound. Then another voice, low, nearly inaudible, like someone whispering instructions. The dispatcher wrote everything down, her pen scratching across the report sheet, knowing this was no ordinary call. This was the kind of call that would haunt every ear that heard it. Then, without warning, the line shifted. Patsy's voice broke into a desperate plea. "Please hurry," before dropping into muffled sobs. The operator asked her to stay calm, to repeat the details. But then, a faint noise, A click. A thud. The dispatcher froze, straining to hear. The voices blurred, distant now, almost as though the receiver had slipped away from Patsy's hand. For a few seconds, the line carried only the echo of chaos, footsteps, someone's harsh breathing, a faint voice too quiet to make out. And then, nothing but the heavy hum of silence that seemed colder than before. The dispatcher tried the line again. Once. Twice. The same silence filled the headset, broken only by faint static. Then, after the third attempt, a sound returned. Patsy's voice, trembling. They're still here. Oh God, they're still in the house. The words clawed through the line like nails on glass. Every instinct told the dispatcher that danger wasn't somewhere out there, but close. Too close. The operator urged her to stay safe, to lock the doors, to wait for officers already on their way. But deep down, a sinking dread spread. Time was slipping, and the walls of that house held secrets the line could only hint at. In the background, the line carried strange fragments. A low male voice, muttering. A sudden metallic slam. A childlike tone, muffled and eerie, impossible to make out. Each sound was scribbled into the dispatcher's notes, but none of it fit together. It was like listening to a puzzle being built in real time. A puzzle where half the pieces were invisible. Patsy's cries rose again. "Please, just get here, please!" The operator assured her help was coming, but the undertone in her voice betrayed doubt. Because she knew, sometimes help arrived too late. While patrol cars raced toward the address, the dispatcher held on to the faint connection. Patsy's voice quivered, fading in and out. Somewhere close by, another voice snapped. Harsh, quick, then cut away before it could be clear. The air over the line felt poisoned with tension, as though the phone itself carried the weight of the house. Each word Patsy spoke was broken, jagged, and behind it lingered something unspeakable. It was more than fear. It was the sound of a night unraveling into a story that would be studied, argued, and feared for decades. The dispatcher kept the line open, her voice steady, urging Patsy to hold on. And then, faint, far but growing, the wail of sirens cut through the tension. Relief and terror clashed in Patsy's trembling sobs. "They're coming! I hear them!" she whispered. But in the backdrop, another sound echoed. Hurried footsteps. A door slamming shut. The unmistakable creak of floorboards above. It felt as if the house itself was alive, holding its breath before something unspeakable surfaced. Red and blue lights painted the quiet streets, flashing across windows and walls. Officers rushed toward the home, unaware that every second inside would etch itself into a history of unanswered questions. The dispatcher relayed the last details, her pen still shaking, her heart heavy. On the other end, Patsy cried out, her words fractured. "Please, find her! Please!" The urgency turned the line into static, overwhelmed by the noise of officers storming through the front door. Inside, chaos gave way to a chilling stillness. The house carried the weight of something deeply wrong. A ransom note sprawled across pages, details that chilled officers to the bone, and a silence that clung too tightly. Patsy's voice cracked in the distance, echoing through rooms as officers searched. Each step forward only revealed darker questions, pieces of a story no one wanted to believe. The dispatcher, now silent on the line, could only imagine the shadows being uncovered inside. After what felt like forever, the call finally ended. The dispatcher stared at the silent headset, her notes scattered with fragments, sobs, whispers, voices that never should have been there. The silence felt heavier than the chaos, like the line itself was mourning. She leaned back, shaken, knowing she had just witnessed the beginning of something larger, a case that would twist through time, dragging with it theories, accusations, and mysteries no one would fully resolve. The call was over, but its shadow never left. Every word, every breath, every strange fragment buried in the background became evidence, dissected for decades. For viewers listening now, it's not just a call from a frantic mother. It's a chilling window into a night of unanswered questions. And as the line fell quiet that morning, the echoes of what was said and what wasn't remain as haunting as the crime itself.